Hi, every pony. Today we are going to be ranting on Pony Gore.
Part 1, a history. The Pony Gore trend basically started with a short story called Cupcakes that was posted around January of 2011. The basic idea of the short is that when Pinkie Pie feeds Rainbow Dash a drugged cupcake, she passes out, and when she wakes up, she's strapped to an operating table, where Pinkie proceeds to cut open her insides and bake them into cupcakes.
So, Pinkie Pie, in Party of One, she had straight hair and she went kind of local. Her coat got darker, her hair went straight. The straight hair also appeared again in the Cobalt Chronicles. So after this episode where she went crazy and had straight hair, everyone decided that Party of One Pinkie Pie should link to cupcakes. So then finally, all the cupcakes now had her with straight hair. Yet the story itself was never edited. And this is the list of the copycats.
Yes, because plenty of stories tried to copy Cupcake's success and reception. Or I guess success isn't quite the right word, but we'll get to that. So, what are those stories?
So, there are other main 6 characters that have the same kind of Gore fanfiction type. There's Scissors Twy. I think she should have been Twilight Scissorhooves, but apparently the internet says otherwise. Then there's Applejack, who I believe is Apple Pills. Then there is Pinkie Pie, Pinkamena, or Pinkest Cupcake. There is Fluttershy, who is Murder Shy. Rainbow Dash, who is Factory Dash. Rarity, who is Little Miss Rarity. She's very popular as an Instagram account, but this is just what I've heard. Also, the Cupcakes fanfic was banned from a lot of My Little Pony websites. I can probably relate. I would do it too, because there might be a 7-year-old kid who goes to the website and like, ooh, cupcakes! Maybe it's about Pinkie with cupcakes! It's like, oh! Their life is scarred until they're 17 or something. Then there's also the music video Smile HD, which has the Smile song. I watched it. That's a lot of... It's a bloodbath, basically.
Yeah.
That's how I'm gonna put it, bloodbath. I don't know why, but in the end, you can see Pinkie Pie is sad. She's like, oh no, I killed all my friends. And then Fluttershy lives, and then she kills Fluttershy, and it's a gross scene. You can see all Fluttershy's muscles and stuff. If you don't like Gore, don't watch that video. And if you want to watch that video, even if you don't, fine. Go ruin your life.
Part 2, why it exists.
So, from what we can tell, it exists because some insecure brony was like, oh, I'm watching this kid show. I need to make it a lot more creepier pasta-er. So he created cupcakes, and then the whole entire internet was like, oh, this combines creepypasta fanfic and My Little Pony fanfic. It's the perfect baby or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the idea being that, and this is a crazy theory, but the idea is that perhaps bronies who are insecure about watching it because it's a kids show feel like they need to combine it with this adult stuff. Now, the more normal theory that we have as to why that this exists would be something called shock value, which basically says that if your work contains something that's quote-unquote shocking, it will inevitably get attention. So perhaps these fanfic writers are putting gore and violence into their stories because they know that it will get attention, especially when it's used with a show as innocent and cute as My Little Pony. This is why things like Pinkie Pie, the Smile Song, etc. tend to get targeted first. Part 3, why it doesn't work. So, I think the main reason why these Pony Gore stories fail as stories is because they just aren't good horror.
The horror needs to be believable.
Yes, exactly. Most horror stories rely on having at least some level of believability, i.e., you could, on some level, imagine these things happening in the real world. This is why most horror stories tend to rely on things like dark spaces, forests, foggy nights, etc., because these are places where things are uncertain, and so our brains can leave room to fill in creepy things. But with this, it's obvious that the ponies of Equestria would never do stuff like this. I simply cannot believe these characters would do these things. It loses all believability, and so it becomes hard for me to see it as anything other than completely ridiculous.
Exactly. Moving on to our next reason why it does not work. This is a kid's show! What are you doing? Seriously, dude, does anyone out in this crowd seriously think that Pinkie Pie would pick up a knife and stab Rainbow Dash in the back? And then the whole entire crowd shouts, no! Never! It's stupid and idiotic! And all the Gore fans are just sitting in the back and we're like, it's a kid's show. Just whoever is watching this. Seriously, what are you doing?
Yeah, it does really make my skin crawl to see these cute, innocent, upbeat characters do these things. Even if it isn't scary per se, it still upsets me to know that people are willing to envision this stuff. Our final reason as to why it doesn't work is simply that it's been done to death. We've been exposed to story after story after story involving characters mutilating each other. It stops being scary and starts being cliche. Let's face it, Pony Gore is basically a joke now.
So thank you for watching our not-so-spooky Gore rant, and we will see you next time if we're still alive. Quote, quote.
Good night, everyone!